the auto mix inspired Michael Ball. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes. So that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee. Let's talk a little football. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a close to Halloween edition of the Press Box. I'm so glad you could join us with these not in costume folks here.
We're all here.
We're all present. Glad for that. Glad to have Jim with us,
Yep.
Michael Best, Randy Young, and let's talk high school football. Big game. Colquitt County beats Camden County 37-16. A lot of big games, a lot of region games that we're going to be talking about and previewing, but Randy, thoughts on Colquitt County's win over Camden?
Well, a good friend of mine who is a former coach for Camden, and he was keeping me posted on this game. Glenn Duty McCullough. I want to give Glenn.
Yeah, give him credit.
Duty, named Heavy Duty is what he was, because he's a big guy. But he kept me up with the game, and it was really kind of nip and tuck there for a while. And Colquitt, just too many weapons, just pulled away. But Camden asserted themselves very well, and I think they walked out of there with a little more confidence, I think, than they walked in with, because they held their own, at least through about 3/4 of it. But Colquitt's just got too many weapons. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Camden was able to move the ball a little bit with that wing tee, had a lead in the second quarter, and then Colquitt just pulled away. But again, there's no shame in that.
Exactly. Y'all think Camden's number 2 coming out of this region, or Lowndes, or who do you think is going to be number 2?
Lowndes is down, so I would say Camden's got a good shot at being number 2.
Yep, I agree. Yep,
All right.
agree.
Well,
of course, Richmond Hill played
them pretty well.
Played Valdosta pretty good.
Yep.
I would have thought Valdosta at the beginning of the year, but I don't know that they've got enough offense.
All right. Well, Colquitt County is going to be playing Lowndes, and Lowndes beat Dunbar 31-7. And anyway, so that's going to be a good game, no matter. But looks like Colquitt County is taking care of business here. Speaking of taking care of business, let's talk about Thomasville beating Columbus 51-0. And you played a team you should have beat, and it went how you wanted it to go. You're up 37-0 in the first quarter or something like that.
37 points in the first quarter.
So you got to like how that goes, where you came out and played well.
Came out and played well. Well, we finally moved up to a 4A school. Columbus would fit right in there with Cairo's scheduling. But all my years, I watched Lee when they were
bad.
God-awful.
Yeah.
They were terrible. This is the worst high school football team
Really?
I've ever seen. They couldn't do anything. They wound up with 1 yard total offense, and that was because we played our young kids late in the ball game, or midway. Well,
it wasn't really that late, like fourth
late
quarter.
ball game because of third and the fourth quarter. But I think we had the ball 3 times in the second half, and they had it 3 times.
Yeah, so a real running clock, Michael Best.
Yeah,
Your
Michael,
thoughts
I
on that
love
one?
those running clocks when they run them.
Another thing about that game, nobody called a timeout. So
Amen.
I wanted to see.
I think it ought to be against the law.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if a running clock if they stopped it, but change of possessions.
Nothing.
We scored a
Kept going.
touchdown.
Nothing.
Excuse me.
It kept on rolling.
I'm pretty sure against Hardaway we had a running clock in the second quarter. I think we did.
Well, that's what
Because
the referees there wanted to do it, but they said they couldn't.
I think they were sneaking it in on our game.
But anyway, we kicked off to them, 3 plays, we get the ball, first play, we score. I think we ran 6 plays in the first quarter. We had a pass interception, a safety. They snapped the quarterback standing there. They snapped the ball, and it just goes right by him, and he just looks at it. But
So,
anyway,
on a note, what is wrong with Columbus? I know
Yeah.
Carver is the team.
Yeah,
but there are that many kids in that town.
There's
There's got to be some football, and that's some of the worst football
it
in
is.
Columbus
And
right
well,
now.
you want me to? I'll tell you the story.
There'll be, but there should be several good teams in
there
Columbus,
should be.
right?
The
Not
Co-
just one.
The Columbus coach is retiring at the end of the year. They're going to post the job, and you know what the coaching supplement is? No extra days and $5,000.
Whoa.
That's what's wrong with
Yeah.
Columbus
Yeah.
football.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Their coaches.
Not paying their coaches.
They said,
I know
who's
they
going to
change
apply for the
coaches every
Columbus?
year.
Who's going
Yeah.
to apply for the? Well, Columbus coach has been there a while, but who's going to apply for that job?
Yeah.
As bad as they are.
I know Hardaway and Shaw have had a different coach both years when
Right.
we played them.
But
Yeah.
the Columbus coach said it's a great place to be Monday through Thursday, but Friday nights you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, Hardaway's bad, Shaw's bad, Columbus bad, Jordan's bad. I mean,
I would hate to see Hardaway if Columbus could beat them. I'd hate to see them play.
Well, and it may be one of those situations too, kind of like the Warner Robins schools, where you've got a flavor of the month that's hot, and all the athletes kind of gravitate
It
over
used to
that
be
way.
Shaw,
Yeah.
and then it's turned to Carver.
yeah.
That's where the athletes are at Carver.
Well, let's turn our attention to Doherty. You got Doherty coming into town.
Talking about an athlete.
Speaking of athlete,
Yeah.
Cam Davis, FSU commit. But, he's been hurt, so a little bit of intrigue in this game.
He's been back the last 2 weeks. He's a running back. He's not a quarterback. They have a freshman quarterback. They should have been favored, but Monroe came from 16 points down and beat them last Friday night. So that puts Monroe in the hunt for the number 2 spot. And Doherty now has 2 losses with us coming, and they still got Carver. But he's just at running back now, and so they only beat Columbus 33-0. So evidently they have some other problems.
He can't be 100%.
No,
though.
they changed coaches right at the beginning.
Yeah, something's up with that.
Something happened in
Yeah,
that,
something-
and they have
Sometimes right, because that's a good quality program.
This should be if Cam Davis is there, it'll be a ball game because we'll have a hard time tackling. Cause
He's good.
Last year we beat him because we made him throw the football because he's a quarterback. Well, if they're handing it to him,
Yep.
so should be a great ball game. Only bad news we had coming out of last Friday is we lost Jay Randall probably for the rest of the year. He jumped over a pile and landed wrong, and I think it's either his meniscus or his MCL.
So maybe
that's our-
playoffs for him, or do you think
I don't
that's-
know. They got to get an MRI done to see what it really is. But that's your best. That's Thomasville's athlete.
Oh, yeah.
He can play anywhere you want him to
Yes,
play.
he can.
So
Yeah, he's a good
bad
one.
news there. But Cam had a good night at throwing the football, and you couldn't really tell about the running backs because they had 3 carries apiece. It was just
Just one of those kind
it
of
was
days.
just one of the games, and Coach DeLay just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
And not get anybody hurt, but unfortunately we did.
Yeah. Well,
Great
you got
showing by my Bulldogs. I'm proud
Yeah,
of
Bulldogs, and then going to be a fun
proud.
game against
And
Doherty.
by the way, Jim, now he did not. When
Not
we
one
talked
word.
about
Yeah,
Thomasville
He
last
came.
week,
Yeah,
it was
he
a
didn't say
gag order.
anything.
I got upset because he was out for supper instead of coming to watch us play last week.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
it's my birthday,
Well,
and Columbus is not a place I want to spend my birthday. I don't know why. but-
They have a good Longhorns.
Yeah.
That's a long haul for Longhorns, though.
All right, well, speaking of good, we hope we had good bye weeks for Thomas County Central and Cairo. Now you guys have kind of the meat of the region schedule for both teams, so we'll talk about both you guys. But let's talk Cairo first. You got Westover, Hugh Mills on a Friday night. It's going to be fun.
We haven't been there in a couple of years, and so we miss it. And, the bad news, I think, of all is that the Red Lobster's gone out of business, and I don't know what I'm going to do with Blair.
Yeah.
'cause
How's Blair handling this news?
I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we may wind up at Blackbeard's or Crystal. I don't know what'll
There's an
happen.
Olive Garden nearby.
Well,
Just-
I don't. He's not a big Olive Garden guy, He's.
I think he would be anywhere good guy.
Yeah,
as long
I
as
would
it's
think food.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
food, he would be good
If
with
it
it.
doesn't-
Food is big on his.
That's it.
Yeah, so we got to deal with that. But it just shows we miss 1 year and then there's an economic decline in Albany. And
Because of that.
Red Lobster throws their hands up. We're done. We're out. So we missed 1 year, but so we got to do that. But Westover, they're another one of those typical. Albany schools got a lot of athletes, and you just don't know what's going to get dished up on a Friday night.
Not lobster.
Up there, and it ain't gonna be lobster, but a big game for us because if we win, that qualifies us for a home field
Yes.
game, first round.
A lot at stake.
That's 20 years in a row to do that, and so there's a lot pushing to get that done, and then we have another week off, and then we finish up the season with Bainbridge. So, Westover will be big. We're coming off that open date and fall break, and talked to Coach, and he said they had a great week. Everybody was there. That's another thing you worry about because you got to keep everybody in town and
Keep them
he said
focused.
Everybody was there and focused and had a good week. So we got a few bumps and bruises healed up. So we're looking forward to getting rolling again.
All right, well, let's talk about Thomas County Central. We'll start with that first about healing up. Did you get some bumps and bruises healed up on this open week? Or
We actually created a couple of bumps and bruises. A couple of guys got dinged up a little bit in some of the practices, but they should be good to go. This is a huge football game. I mean, depending on what poll you're looking at, it's either the number 1 team or number 2 team versus the number 5 or number 6 team in the state. And Houston boasts the top quarterback in the junior class in the state of Georgia, A.J. Hill. He's a good one. 6'4", 215. He's got right at 1,900 yards passing so far through 7 games, and that's pretty sporty.
And he likes to stick in the pocket, right?
He is not a runner.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of advantage we've got going in here, he does not like to run. In fact, he's near the bottom in the region standings as far as rushing is concerned with negative yardage. But he's surrounded by weapons. Ryan Mitchell is a kid who's the top receiver in the region, and then he's got Ryan Taylor behind him, who's one of the top running backs. They're averaging about 47 points a game. But, again, if there's a silver lining here, their defense is not all that. So if we can continue doing what we're doing on offense and play a little bit of defense and slow them down, we hopefully will have a shot. But they're extremely good, and it'll be a really, really strong test here in this little murderer's row that we've got, because we get A.J. Hill this week, and then we've got Usmani Chroma, arguably the top junior running back in the entire state, next week. And then we finish out with Northside, Warner Robins, a team we've hardly ever played good against. So tough stretch, but it starts Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. You think it's going to be a little more ball control from the Jackets to kind of keep A.J. Hill off the field, or just keep running what you're running?
I think Coach Rogers is going to just take whatever they're giving them. And the good news about Central is we're balanced. I mean, if we need to run the football, we can run it. If we need to throw the football, we can throw it. So Houston's going to have to choose their poison there. But the main thing is just slowing that offense down. The only team that has come close to slowing them down was Lee County. That's their only loss of the year, but I mean, they still scored 35 and gained right at 500 yards of offense against them. The key to that game was that Lee County sacked A.J. Hill 7 times. And that being the case, hopefully our guys will be able to replicate that, if not more. I hope so. We'll see. Should be a good one.
All right. A couple other region games here. Mitchell County is coming off a bye. They're coming off a bye as well, so they're looking to get their first win over Miller County. So I'm rooting for the Eagles. Let's get that first win, fellas. Pelham lost a region foe over Irwin. They lost 40-35, and they're going to go to Bacon County. And Brookwood slung the ball around the field last week, and then this week in SEC. 90s SEC football game broke out, and but they did win, so 21-7 over Southland, and they travel to play Tift Area. And Tift Area's got a pretty good defense. A lot of close losses by Tift Area. So
you're saying the Brookwood quarterback only threw for like 500?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they.
Golly.
You know.
He won player of the state.
Yeah, he won player of the state.
That was very impressive.
Yeah, it was a great night. And glad to see him. He, Raj has worked really hard.
He deserves that.
Deserves that recognition, and glad he's getting it. So
Yep.
super proud of him and his family as well. So so they go to Tift Area, and I think going to be another close game, just like the Southland game was. And we're going to be right back to talk college football coming up. And welcome back to the Press Box. I'm so glad you're sticking with us and talking a little college football. Always fun to talk about that. A little bit different take on yes, no. So
here we go.
that's coming up.
The SEC.
Yeah, I love talking about the SEC this year. It's a lot of fun for us
non-SEC.
No,
folks.
I'm going to be an SEC
Next
guy
year.
this year.
This year he's giving us grief.
I got to kind of switch over.
Yeah,
He's got to slide to the
Y'all
right.
better start winning some games. You're going to come in the SEC. You can't keep losing.
No, we beat the best SEC team there was, Alabama.
There we go.
In Tuscaloosa,
Emphasis-
something no SEC team can do.
Was.
Emphasis on was.
All right, let's see.
You don't know,
Let's
they
talk
may be
about
at the end of the
Alabama.
year.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's going to be. There's a lot of interesting intrigue with the SEC coming up in this half of the season. But let's talk about Georgia and lost Brock Bowers, one of my favorite players, just a awesome tight end, and hate to see injuries.
Good guy too.
Yeah, and plays hard, and but lost him, and now the speculation begins as to when he'll be back. So just saying he'll be back for the SEC game. Do you think this is going to be good for Georgia, and that they're not going to rely on him? They're going to develop other weapons on offense? Michael, I'll start with you.
That's been the talk, is that other people are going to be forced now to step up, and Ladd McConkey seems to be a little more healthy. You get McConkey going, you get that donkey going, and
is his sister like Lassie, or
Yeah.
you got Ladd and Lassie? Is that how that
that's
works?
it.
I'm a little.
That's it.
Well, his dad's name was Benji for what that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Which is a dog. So that's right.
Yeah.
Is that you being for real?
The old Benji.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah.
So
Never mind.
everybody's got to it's like guys used to say, when the water rises, all the boats come up at the same time. So we got to rise.
Wait, what was that again?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. When the water rises, all the boats come up.
Did you come up with that by yourself?
What is
No,
that?
actually,
I don't
how
know,
does
but it sounds
that
good.
analogy work with this?
That's about as good as skull drug.
When the expectation rise, everybody comes up.
All right.
Okay.
Follow me. I'm a Thomasville graduate. You got to stick with me now. I'm at a different
You've
level.
lost
Yeah,
me.
but you drank too much water in Grady County, and that's where that came from.
That's where that water's rising.
That's where
right
the
there,
water's
man.
rising.
That was very, very intellectual.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So,
Hard school
Ray-
drug.
yeah.
Both of them. I'm going to use it. It's good.
That's above my head.
I'm under the water.
yeah, he was
Saying.
using big words when
I
you
used
weren't here
skull
last
drug,
week.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
used skull
It
drug
was-
last
he knows a
week.
few.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
crazy. It was
Skull
crazy.
drug.
I had to get my dictionary out.
Well, now,
So
what-
let's go to the Georgia game here.
One good bit of news here is that Mike Bobo, who seems to catch more grief than anybody I know of, has coached around some injuries before for Georgia. If you remember, Aaron Murray got hurt back when he was a quarterback, and we ended up, I think it was Mason somebody, I can't
Yeah.
remember his kid's name, and then Todd Gurley got hurt while Mike was the offensive coordinator, and he continued to have that offense excelling. I believe that you're going to see some guys like
Is that why y'all put for sale signs in his front
man,
yard?
Yeah.
wasn't me. I'm a Mike fan and have been from day
Yeah.
one. The problem with Mike back then was it was defense. It had nothing
Yeah,
to do with
yeah.
him. It was third and Grantham.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway-
hard to overcome that one.
I think you're going to see Lovett step up. He started taking a more active role in the offense. I think Ra Thomas is stepping up. And shoot, Dejon Edwards had 146 rushing yards last week. If that rushing game can contribute just a bit, Carson Beck has shown that he can carry this team.
Yeah.
And there's enough weapons all over the place. And look, there are 2 5-star tight ends behind Bowers. So it's not like the room's empty there. It's time for somebody else to step into that role. Not that he'll be Bowers, but hopefully just
Yeah.
kind of fill in the gap.
I think it's going to be a good thing for Georgia.
I think it can be.
They're coming on a stretch now. They're going to have to play pretty well. Some of these teams are a little better than we thought, but I don't think if Georgia just has to play well, they'll be fine.
Well, the
So,
offensive line is showing more consistency, which was a big concern as we went along. And Beck, again, is settling into that role as the leader of the team.
You should be getting Mims back
Yep.
this next game. I think next week.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a really good offensive lineman.
Kendall
So
Milton was banged up, but he's apparently fine. And Roderick Robinson, the young kid that was a freshman who got hurt back in the South Carolina game, he's supposed to be back. So the running back depth starts getting a little bit better. You get those offensive linemen back healthy. Should be okay.
yeah. All right. Well, we've got our next question always comes up with Seminoles. They've got a good Duke team coming into town with especially a pretty good defense. And to
They
me,
playing at Tully Gym, or they're going to be in the civics?
Yeah,
No, it's football.
yeah,
Better
yeah,
not
it's
be
football.
playing in the gym.
That's
Cameron
true. You don't want to be playing Duke, and you don't want Duke to bring the officials. So hopefully we'll have like good, good football
You going
officials here.
Cherry there? What was his
Yeah,
name?
Ron Cherry.
Yeah,
No,
Ron
he.
Cherry.
I celebrated when he retired a while back.
They might bring him back.
I know,
Just for the heck of it.
just for me, just to
That's
give
it.
me a heart attack. But Seminoles have done well, kind of getting better, and but I think they're going to face a challenge and just a very, very sound schematically Duke defense, who's got some players. They got some prospects over there. So, do you think Florida State's going to be patient enough as maybe Duke throws a lot at them and try to get Jordan Travis frustrated? How do you think that game's going to go?
I think the key is how well Benson runs. If they get that running game going, then Jordan's going to
fine.
be fine because everything plays off that run. And, I think will Johnny Wilson be back?
Yeah, Johnny Wilson will be back, so
That'll
that'll be
really,
good.
really help him. And Coleman had a
Fantastic game,
great game,
one of the best catches I've ever seen.
right,
so.
but the running game is the key to FSU's offense.
And to add to that too, I think you're going to see them probably scheme up to get Benson. So can you Toafili, Rodney Hill, one of those other guys step up, who's done pretty well. But Randy, what's your take on FSU this week?
Well, I mean, the main thing is, I think Jim nailed it. Jordan Travis is good enough to carry this team, but when the entirety of the pressure is on him, that's when it seems like he pushes too hard.
He tries
Yeah.
too hard
Yeah.
to make stuff
Yeah,
happen.
plays outside of himself. And that running game, that's a key. Duke, though, is a solid football team. Now, they're not spectacular. They're not going to blow you off the field with the way they look or anything. They're not that physical, but they're just solid and well coached.
Yeah, one of the better defensive minds. Elko is their head coach, and he's
But I
done
think
really good.
FSU's going to be fine.
All right, Michael Best.
You just got to overcome the slump. You know,
Yeah.
they have a slump every game where all of a sudden they
Yeah,
let
they just
somebody
kinda-
back in,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then they overcome it. They got to do that again.
Yeah,
So-
and they've faced that mentally as well. I just think Duke is going to give them some fits for a while. If they can just kind of keep punching, they're going to be fine.
And it's
So,
played in Tallahassee, correct?
in Tallahassee.
That helps.
Saturday night in Tallahassee.
That helps.
All right, so let's go to, speaking of help, we got yes, no. It's a little bit different though.
Okay, he's got to explain.
So
it.
I got to explain it a little bit because I'm not really good at that apparently, yes, no.
Speak
But,
on a low level.
so it's the Halloween costume edition of yes, no. So do you like this costume idea or do you not like it? Yes, no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you
let's
like
give
it?
it a shot. and
So
see
it
what
ain't
happens.
trick or treat. It
No,
ain't trick or
not
treat.
yet.
Without any candy
That's
corn.
coming.
Yeah,
coming.
that's
Candy
coming. That
pumpkins.
comes on Halloween.
Okay.
So, all
All
right,
mix.
do you like this? Yes, no on the Halloween costume idea. Michael Penix, who is the quarterback for University of Washington, should dress up like the Heisman Trophy. Michael,
Yes.
yes, you say yes.
Yeah.
That's right now.
Yeah,
I'd say he's a front runner.
The odds-on front runner.
The legend grew. He was hurt in that ball game, late in the ball game. Several times you could tell he was in pain, and he pulled them through.
Sure did.
Thanks to Oregon's head coach.
Yeah, we had a fun discussion on that about time management and when to go for it and not to go for it and
He
things like
should
that.
be put
So-
in the acid pit in the house.
All right, so here, this is for you, Jim. The SEC should dress up like the best conference this year because they're not.
You mean like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should.
All right, they should dress up like the best conference this year.
I mean, I hate saying it, but right now, there's only a couple of really good teams, and everybody else just kind of in a
Not
big
there.
wad. So yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah. Michael?
Yeah.
All right.
Reluctantly,
Georgia's
But you
Snow
never
White
know.
now.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
I'll
put
take that.
Georgia.
I'll take
Georgia's
that.
Snow White.
as long as we're not goofy
Bama's
or
figuring
Dumbo.
it out, though. Bama's figuring it out. All right, here we
Dumbo's an
go.
elephant. Or the coach of Texas A&M.
I was thinking of that.
All right, here we go. Speaking
nice.
of the coach at Texas A&M, so Jimbo and his offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino, they should dress up like the twin girls in The Shining. What do you think about that idea, Randy Young?
They need to do something. I'm gonna say no because the mental image there just
Yeah, that
bothers me.
would-
I don't
you
want to go
can't
there.
do
I'm
that
gonna say
one.
no, but that's not a good arrangement.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, and I'm going to match you with they should dress up as Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
I
There we
don't know
go.
nothing about The Shining, so I'll just have to say no.
so you're
All right,
saying
there we
there's
go.
a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
Okay.
All right, here we go. How about this one, Michael? Josh Heupel should dress like Bobby from King of the Hill.
He already does. You nailed it. That's him.
That's him. All right, he doesn't have to. Maybe you say. What do you say, Randy?
I say yeah. That's a perfect one for him.
I agree.
All right, you'll have to look that one up if you don't know that
Jim
reference
watches
there.
that, I'm sure.
No. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
All right, Jim. Keon Coleman should dress like an Earthling because he's been out of this world.
I would say so.
2 touchdowns, one of the crazy best catches you'll ever see. What do you say, Randy?
I say yes. I mean that guy.
He has not been of this
incredible.
earth. Although I do think Duke's going to be focused in on him,
I'm
so
sure so.
somebody else is going to have to.
Or you want to say no? Just dress the way you've been dressing.
Yeah,
Just
do
whatever
what you've been
keep
doing,
it.
Keon. You're fine. You're
Yeah.
doing just
Very
great.
impressive.
Hey, we'll see you next time on the Press Box. Appreciate you watching. Go out there and enjoy what's good.